You've stepped into the Sunglass Series. Welcome to the Sunglass Series. My name is Jenny Velarde with Artist as Guide, and here in this series is where we answer your questions about the artist role. And today's question comes from Lindsey from New York. Lindsey is also a drama therapist and she works with actors. Lindsey asks, what is the most valuable thing you've learned so far in helping actors with mental health? So through Artist as Guide, I really believe that everybody has access to the artist role. It's a role that can serve anyone in any part of their lives, in their relationships, in their professional lives, in any expanse of their lives. With this said, I also work very specifically with artists and also with professional artists. So over the years, I've had the incredible opportunity to work clinically and therapeutically with actors. And I love your question, Lindsey, because I think that there are very specific therapeutic elements that are so important for actors as they pursue their craft, as they pursue their profession. So thank you so much for asking. I myself am an actor. I'm also a director, so I love working with actors. And of course, I love working with actors in my practice. There are so many directions that we can go with this question. In fact, I feel like I could do an entire video series specifically to therapeutic benefit for the actors. So if this is something that you enjoy, definitely leave in the comments if you want to see more of this. Right off the top of my head, some things that are incredibly important for actors is building out an infrastructure. So that means building out a really steady routine, a stable infrastructure in your life, because let's face it, the reality of the actor is that their work is fluid, their work is ever changing. It's kind of a transient profession in that sometimes you're in a project for 3 months and then it shifts into a different project. Sometimes you're in a project for a day and it shifts into something else the next day. Sometimes there are weeks where there is no project. So being able to have a strong foundation underneath you is critical. But today, something I am going to focus on very specifically regarding mental health for the actor is taking on some of the pains, the specific pains that the actor encounters. Now, before we dig into this, I want to say these are pains that are common to the artist role. They're kind of embedded in the artist role in general, but we're going to look at it from the lens of the actor. So something that I have heard from clients over the years, and certainly this isn't something unique solely to my clients or of the experience of the actors that I've worked with. But some of the pains that come up are, oh gosh, there's so many actors in the world, who needs another one? Or what do I bring to the table that 100 other people don't bring to the table? Or it feels like such a selfish or self-serving profession. It feels like such a selfish craft, like I'm so self-focused. These are common things that actors hear from other people, struggle with internally. These pains including kind of like this dime a dozen mentality or this self-centered mentality can hinder the actor. If these aren't things that are worked through and processed, this is going to drastically affect your craft and your connection to it. So I like to see this kind of turned on its ear. I actually see it an entirely different way. I love the actor role because I really see it as a form of service. When I was in college, I went to school for acting, for theater. And I remember at that time, I would see taking on each and every role as almost like being a lawyer for the role that I was playing, for the character that I was playing. So I would see it almost like defending the character itself, that was my job as the actor. As I've gotten older, as I've continued acting, directing, working with clients, that's shifted a little bit. I see the role actually more as the role of the advocate. So certainly the lawyer role can kind of pop up in there a little bit in terms of defending the character, but more powerfully, stepping more deeply into the character, it's advocating. Our role as actors is to advocate for our character. Here's the important piece that is the service piece to this. In advocating for our characters, we essentially are tapping into our capacity for empathy. We're tapping into our capacity to empathize for another. So in this way, it's the craft of acting that can bring any kind of story, any kind of expression alive through the active engagement of empathy. An empathetic eye, that is the framing, that when an actor really approaches their work, they really are approaching it from a place of service. So kind of spanning back out, pulling the lens back out, thinking about this idea of the actor's pain. So the dime a dozen concept, or the concept that it's self-serving. When this is the lens in which you are approaching your craft, all of a sudden, it's not about whether you step into an audition room and in that room there are 20 people that quote unquote look like you. It's about what you are bringing, the humanity that you are bringing to that audition piece, to that role, to that character, to that stage, to being on camera. Empathy is at the core of it. In applying this concept of advocacy, of empathy, when these pains come up, and they may continue to come up, whether it be externally or internally, try and shift it so that it's coming from that place of service. All of a sudden, it makes the work that you're doing, your craft, it's an entirely different paradigm. It's an entirely different universe than this kind of cliche way of looking at the actor role. And another really exciting piece to this that I love about actors is that actors that really dig into their characters and put this empathy to good use, model to those who are watching them, to audience, to us as the audience, empathy in action. So not only is it you practicing empathy and advocacy, it's modeling it to others. Thank you so much, Lindsey, for your question about actors and actors' well-being and mental wellness. I'd love to hear a dialogue from other actors, from directors, from people who have actors in their lives. I'd love to hear a dialogue down below in the comments section about what your thoughts are regarding well-being specific to the actor. Also, if you are engaged in a different creative modality and would like to see a specific video on that, please leave it in the comments below. And in general, if you have a question about the artist role that you would like to have answered, leave it in the comments below, and it may be featured in an upcoming episode. Now, here's the thing about procrastination. With the right tools, it can be our greatest helper. Without the right tools, it will take us down, shamelessly stealing days, months, years, and even decades from us. And it doesn't stop on its own. The procrastination system, 6 hours, 5 segments, 20 chapters, custom-built tools and concepts reinforced by up-to-date neuroscience. Turn your inaction into traction. The link's below.